Snake with Nip Hustle. Big shout out to my SPI, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.
Jeter, gratitude is the attitude. The show is a blessing to be back in the black box as we blow us a session. On my mama, I ain't gonna even lie, cuz I ain't gonna even fake front like I'm an expert on what's been going on with Ralo at all. Don't know much about it. Am vaguely aware that there's been some allegations directed toward him as far as having a snitchation. I remember hearing a recording about a year ago of him speaking to somebody about it and saying, you know, he was running game on the system, basically. However, shout out to my boy Rex from Chi-Town. He's a content creator. He always sending me shit, and he sent me a piece he did on this Ralo snitchation. And it's basically an explanation as to why everybody thinks that Ralo told. So I started, it's only 13 minutes. I said, damn, that's pretty quick to summarize such a big story up. So before we get cracking, go over the Street Certified, follow up over there. Them is good folks, man, real good folks. Yeah. So I'm going to use this opportunity to learn. And a lot of people look at me getting up here with information, sharing and disseminated as teaching. However, I typically look at it as us learning together. As I learn, I share, or I learn while you watch, and then we learn together other than me teaching this. I ain't an expert on much. However, I do enjoy Street Certified content in general and their perspective. This is a personal partner of mine. However, I have not watched past up into this point right here. I just figured this would be interesting to see what it is with this Ralo situation. Let's go.
Puts us in the algorithm, and we think this video is another one of those videos that really need to get to the top so that people can kind of understand exactly what's going on with this Ralo situation. Again, man, it's your boy Mr. Rocco, man. Street Certified News. Let's get right into it. December 17th, 2017, the sales coordinator of Centurion Jet, now known as Global Jet, would send an email to Ralo.famerica@gmail.com to request a list of individuals flying on a round-trip flight from Atlanta, Georgia to Sacramento, California. An email address.
I just want to say right now, a little dark situation, Ralo situation, hip-hop, alleged charges, gangsterism, flight plans. Boy, you got to be a lot more calculated and coordinated, or you just have to comply. Big Brother is in full effect. They watching.
Previously identified to be used by the Atlanta rapper Ralo, would then reply with 11 names, including his own, Terrell Davis. Only a day later, Davis and a group of approximately 10 individuals boarded a round-trip flight from Fulton County Airport to Sacramento, California. 4 days later, on December 22nd, 2017, Davis's private flight returned to Fulton County Airport at about 5 a.m.
I just realized also flights to California. How ironic is that?
Where surveillance teams made up of members of the ATF, FBI, and Georgia State Patrol would observe two black vans waiting for the jet's arrival. After the plane parked, surveillance teams claimed Davis and the other passengers transferred 37 packages wrapped in white holiday paper from the jet onto the vans. 3 passengers then got in the van and drove away, while Davis and the rest of the passengers would leave in the other van. Georgia State Patrol, after watching all of this, would conduct a traffic stop of the first van, and the search warrant of the vehicle would locate approximately 520 pounds of marijuana.
They was getting it, boy. But no little money.
Wrapped in white holiday paper in the rear of the van. with the estimated street value of over $1 million. On December 23rd, 2017, the Instagram account belonging to Ralo Famgoon posted a picture of Ralo standing by a swimming pool with the caption, "I've lost more than men have gained in a lifetime. Have you ever lost $1 million at one time?" On Saturday, April 14th, 2018, ATF and FBI received information.
People, if you don't understand, understand by now, if you don't get it, flossing, flexing, financial freedom without being able to substantiate how you sustained it is a no-no. Social media, cameras, public, they watching. Them peoples is watching on my mama. They not playing about their paper, partner.
That Ralo had already traveled to California and would be traveling back to Atlanta via a private flight. Given the events of the December 22nd flight and the large marijuana seizure, agents would establish surveillance on Ralo and his entourage while still in California.
That's a cold thing. So often, they watching you and you ain't got a clue. Ooh, they be in the cut and you just moving. I remember though, at least for some time, Blue and Meech, BMF knew that they was watching, knew that they was coming. Now I know that's a whole nother feeling of apprehension and being unsettled. But moving around, popping and balling and not knowing they on you, ooh, once you realize that they was on you, I know you probably could look back and notice a whole lot of like, yeah, they was on me.
That same day, Davis and his group arrived at the McLean Sacramento airport, where agents claimed they saw these individuals load approximately 17 packages into the baggage compartment of the aircraft and take off for Atlanta. On April 15th, after landing his charter jet in Atlanta, federal agents would swoop in and arrest Ralo and 5 individuals, eventually naming 9 people in the federal indictment on drug trafficking and gang charges. That 2017 arrest, man, where his team was arrested, and they said they had seen him at the airport. I actually remember covering that story like literally when it first happened. And I believe at that time people thought like we kind of knew what was going on. So there was a lot of reports, from certain outlets, including ours, like, man, Ralo looked like he got a big drug shipment seized. At that time, we didn't know that federal agents had also seen him at the airport. It was just that he didn't get in that vehicle.
I guess this sounds like some clarification as to why Ralo ain't all bad. Now, just because they got their eyes on you and it looked like they finna crack down on you, don't mean you can't be crafty enough to wiggle and not get stretched out without going bad. However, I'm not convinced as of yet.
But I definitely remember like Ralo got a big drug shipment seized coming off the private plane at the airport. Like that was a big story, but he didn't go to jail for it. I guess, because the other people had gotten the trucks and, report.
Now that sound fishy. Ain't no such thing as the feds following a big shipment, a main guy, it go down, and then he's not arrested for the reason that he's not involved. They might just let the big fish, you feel me? Maybe they wanted him for something bigger. Maybe they busted that. Maybe it was strategic, thought he was going to lead them to something else. But they definitely, if they see something and it was in his entourage, with his people that much, it wasn't because they didn't have him like involved or liable. There's other strategic reason why they probably didn't snatch him right then.
Reportedly, they didn't tell on Ralo, so then, he was able to stay free. And I just remember thinking, like, when I heard about it happening again in April of 2018, this time Ralo's on the plane and he's with the drugs and everybody gets arrested. I just remember thinking to myself, like, man, like, you would think after getting away with that and, losing $1 million in one day and all that type of stuff, you would think, like, bro, just like figure some other way out. You know what I'm saying?
Or you would have started, maybe me personally assuming that, is he setting these people up? If he moving around heavy like that, the people roll down, popping everybody but him, I might get suspicious that he working.
I would have never thought that his response to that type of situation would be, well, look, I'm gonna hop on the plane this time and I'm gonna do it all myself. Either way, in April 2018, the boy Ralo, along with 8 other individuals, will be indicted in federal court on drugs and gang charges. And within 2 months of this initial arrest in April, we would come to find out years later that rapper Ralo was already suffering and looking to make a deal. On June 6, 2018, Terrell Davis would agree with federal authorities to a secret meeting with no lawyers present, where a proffer of facts would be provided to the agents. This would be the meeting Ralo would allude to.
Now, is a proffer once again considered a queen for a day? I know in the federal system and certain, I learned recently that all proffers are considered queen for a day, I believe. Now, in my assessment, in no circumstances does a man volunteer to be a queen for a day, an hour, a minute, a moment, a second. So if this is him volunteering for being a queen for a day, when is it cool to bitch out, bro? Just let me know.
When speaking with Famerica member John Doe on that now infamous phone call.
I still love you. Alhamdulillah, I can't complain. I'm out here still deaning, still keeping it solid, I like that. I ain't opposed to that.
I find it real crazy how Muslims can blend their religion in a whole lot of stuff, it seems like. You got people such as myself who grew up Christian, and if we're pressed for an answer what you are Christian, even though I don't really subscribe to any religion at this point in my life, just generally there's Christians, there's Muslims, but when you get into some gangster shit or something illegal, it don't seem like the people who kind of claim to be Christians don't involve their Christianity as much as this nigga just banged this whole religion while he talking this gangster shit. I've always noticed that about Islam. Seems to blend a lot closer with just regular life and, street shit.
The documents that you see is from a prosecution misconduct. But hearing. Okay, but so if you saying that you gave them just the phone information because you knew nothing was in the phone, what about this shit on page 12, line 12 and 13, where it say he is cooperating against heroin, methamphetamine, he knows about shootings, and the marijuana, where it say he is cooperating against heroin, methamphetamine, he knows about shootings, and the marijuana. That's what the transcript say. Okay, I'm not opposition to that. Listen, when you go in there, they ask you other questions. I made my presentation. They started asking other questions. You know the code though. That's what I'm saying. You know the code. You ain't supposed to have no meeting with them folks in the first.
They fucked me up with this. The code because Aki, that's Islam again. So they talking religion and gangsterism all combined and intertwined. That's deep.
Play. I was presented a situation that other. I just only reason why you know about this is because of the prosecution misconduct hearing.
By July 24th, 2018, lead attorney Steele would be put on notice about Ralo's cooperation after questioning a new hearing date he did not motion for, eventually finding out his client had already agreed to a plea. During this hearing, Steele would question the government's motives during that June 6 proffer with his client, ultimately agreeing himself that he was also negotiating his own cooperation plea and had not yet brought it up to Mr. Davis. On August 6, 2018, the original April indictment for guns and drug trafficking would be amended to include 2 additional men, Arthur Ott and Manu Jones. Only 1 month later, on September 18, 2018, Terrell Davis and Manu Jones will be the only 2 defendants called to appear at a hearing before Magistrate Alan J. Baverman on a 379 sealed motion. This hearing would mark the final unsealed court appearance of Terrell Davis leading up into his sentencing in March of 2022. I try to bring y'all the information really as concise and cut and dry as possible, because a lot of these details may have been overlooked or may not have been paid attention to. But when Ralo originally went on that Say Cheese interview, and we're gonna play the part, he always was bringing up the fall guy and the fall guys and the fall guys. And when you look at the paperwork and you look at how his attorney found out about him cooperating in July, but he had already cooperated in June.
Now, when he cooperated, does he just have, now, I don't know if I missed it, y'all. Did it indicate who he implicated or incriminated or insinuated had done something illegal? Because if it did, I missed it on my mama.
And then you got this guy, Ott, as well as Manu Jones, who we believe is the fall guy. You got these guys being arrested months later, separate court dates with Manu Jones and Terrell Davis, aka Ralo. These things are happening. There's things being sealed. And we believe that when Ralo got out of jail, and one of his first big interviews was this Say Cheese interview where he would sit down with the owner of Say Cheese, and he would run down a number of things. He brought up the mafia, he brought up fall guys, he brought up, this this
concept of fall guys with the mafia and gangsterism is deep. I can recall a time where I done seen homies like go to jail like for burners, and then press other homies to come up there and claim them under circumstances and stories, because the person that went to jail with it isn't going to be in a whole lot more trouble than the person that could have claimed it or should have claimed it. And that's the kind of a false guy concept. Another thing I notice a lot, people say cooperating. Once you cooperate, you all bad. And, with this YouTube metaverse space and all the street code and stuff being blended into one big conversation, so many lines get blurred, because I want to just clarify how cooperation can be cool without it being violating any code, right? So say this: you are either involved in or alleged to be involved in or witness to any type of crime. Just say a shooting. Bam. Now, when the police ask you, would you be willing to view a lineup? If you agree to view a lineup or a six-pack photo, which a lot of people do, nothing illegal when it comes or foul to the code about viewing the six-pack. Do you mind if I show you some pictures and see if you can identify someone? Would you mind cooperating? Oh, I would have no problem with that. I look at the pictures. I'm sorry, officer. I wish I could help you, but I can't identify anyone. Even in your brain, you may know exactly who it is on these photographs. Guess what? The officers, when they fill out the report, they're going to say so-and-so cooperated, however, they were unable to identify. And you cooperated technically, however, you didn't cooperate to the extent of helping. So just because it's officially stated or technically understood that you cooperated doesn't mean that you went bad, bro. And they throw that word cooperate around so often and so loosely that it seems to be the general understanding that cooperation is all bad. But nah, technically, if they ask you to view a six-pack and you cooperate and view it and you're unable to identify whether you know who it is or not, you technically have cooperated, but you haven't violated. Oh, my mama.
Code or something that he believed, that he followed, and he was, really trying to explain himself.
Well, however they gotta put it, you know what I'm saying? They put it that way. A dude might pay you. You ain't got no criminal history. Let's just say you ain't got a criminal history. Because the feds got guidelines.
My mama, I remember hitting the lick with my Uncle Brody, rest in peace. And right after we passed, we had got pulled over. We got blurred for a headlight, but a missing headlight. But it was so quick after the lick, we just knew it was because of what we had just done. But when they blurred us, and we was way out in like Bixby Nose by Cal State, Long Beach University, way out there somewhere. I just remember jumping out. I mean, being in the passenger seat with all the contraband, and my uncle, My mama brother, way older than me. He a fool, gangster, scandalous. I was like 17. I remember jumping out the driver's seat saying, "Hey, you want to take this rap, man? I can't go back to prison." Some bullshit like that. And he jumped out and went to cap at the police. I remember having all the shit in there trying to tuck it. And I remember seeing him getting arrested in the rear view. And as they was putting him in the car, he was just trying to let me know. He was like, "I'm going to jail for warrants, man." He said that real loud. So just let me know. Don't panic. And I remember the police came up to me, asked me, "Do I have my license?" I'm like, "Yeah." They let me, asked me, "Can I drive a stick?" It was a stick. I'm like, "Yeah." I jumped around, got in the driver's seat, and got on with all the shit in the car. And we was just minutes, moments, millimeters. Thank you, Creator, man. That's why I say, the gratitude is the attitude. I remain grateful, man, because God keep his eyes on babies and fools. I've been so fortunate not to be held accountable for so many of my moves. Oh, my mama.
Before Manu Jones, the Fall Guy, before his lawyer, before all of this stuff happened, man, Ralo had already sat down with the feds, gave a proffer of information.
To me, right then and there, Queen for a Day, proffer. You saw bad cold situation, Ralo. And sometimes, that's what happened with this system. Back in the days, gangsterism was more, people in the system were more bold and mind made up that I did what I did. Robbery, assaults, even me murder. Just like I've had to make a decision to do certain things. When it came to the game, this is when the slick, sly, sneaky, scandalous mentality crept into the system, where you have more people that were less bold about the decisions they were making and willing to deal with the consequences and be held accountable than people that was trying to beat the system. And then that's a whole different thing. That's when you get the sneaky, sly, snaky, sheenet permeating real heavy, boy.
He did not have a lawyer present. This was not like some negotiated mob boss type of situation. It was really, Ralo had been in jail for about 2 months, probably the longest time he's ever spent in jail. He's a multimillionaire and he's in there suffering and he's looking for a way out. And, that's when the feds come, they sit down with you and they do these types of meetings. We believe that's why he brought that up. And then also months later, he would go on to do the Big Facts interview, where Big Facts host Baby J would grill him on that page 8 document that that we showed in the video.
Correct. And it said, if it comes out on June 16th, 2008.
I don't know why he went to play with her. She looked like she is not with but she ain't just about the facts. She about the big facts over feelings or about blah, blah, blah.
18 that Mr. Davis gave information. I know this honorable court has been privy to that. Actual notes of that proffer, if that is released, there's a lot.
Why do these niggas go on these platforms? You got all this me money. You this heavy in the key name. Why do you need the cameras and the fee name? Why you don't just sit back and do your thing name? Especially when you stinking like a dirty rat.
A lot of information on a lot of people that are well known in this community that would not bode well for Mr. Davis, for his security and his rap interests at all.
Man, I don't think there's nothing to think about, man. Yeah, think twice before you get in this game, man. You can't do the crime, don't do the time. It's all bad, Ralo. But I don't think it's going to stop no motion, because there's so many of them out here. It's an infestation. Oh, my mama.
You are now in the black box. Whoa. With Spider Loke, Most Easty, a.k.a. VJ Keyway, and the Google Gang.
Let's go!
Jeter. Gratitude is the attitude. This show is a blessing. We'll be back in the black box as we blow a secession on my mama. The law is getting out of control, y'all. I can't say I never seen nothing like this. We seen what they tried to do to Young Thug. A$AP Rocky just beat this shit. They be on Boosie Bumper. Lil Durk and them. The list goes on, going back to the 9 Trey. But hip hop has definitely been under attack. I remember back in my day as a contemporary, the hip hop police was a big thing. I remember seeing a book, because I remember hearing about it and not believing it really. And then actually seeing a book. It was a big ass, thick book compiled of, like, let's just use any rapper for example, Busta Rhymes. Yeah, it would have Busta Rhymes in this book. Then it would have this tree of all these arms and branches, pages and pages and pages of Busta Rhymes' childhood friends, current associates. If you got your bike stolen as a child, it had that information in there, mug shots, all type of information compiled about rappers and their entourages that go way back in history. It wasn't all contemporary. So to see what they're doing now, to me, as I focus on it and think about it, is a natural progression. However, the way they trying to do Lil Baby right here, bro, I never seen them move the goalpost this far or try to put this much paint where it ain't. But I think they're going to be unsuccessful in bringing about these charges. Let's just check out what they're trying to do to hip hop. Oh, my mama.
Atlanta police are blaming a local rapper's music video for the deaths of two 13-year-olds, and a $50,000 reward is being offered for more information. So far, 7 people have already been arrested.
Between the bullets, it was nothing but bullets, pop, 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 pop.
At least 25 shots fired.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was just a concert. I was waiting for Lil Baby to come by my tacos up.
Did you know the Atlanta police just called out Lil Baby for the passing of 2 individuals?
God bless the dead. Rest in peace to those people. How unfortunately they lost their life. I'm not minimizing that whatsoever in my reaction to this. Please keep that in mind.
Would read, the Atlanta Police Department is calling out Lil Baby, saying his actions led to the passing of 2 young adults last summer. During a press conference on Wednesday, February 26, the Atlanta PD announced 7 arrests have been made in connection to the passing of Jacody Davis and Lamont Freeman. Major Ralph has stated the incidents were a part of a gang war that started with an incident at one of Lil Baby music video shoots last May. With 3 people now injured, the officer would strongly emphasize, and I quote, "This team will work relentlessly to hold you accountable," referring to Lil Baby.
That's a crazy statement, a crazy declaration. For a team to vow to hold a certain individual responsible for actions he did not willingly, knowingly participate in is crazy. I think that was a bad statement. They're proving that they're taking this personal. They did not say that they're committed to getting to the bottom of this and holding the correct, responsible people or individuals responsible. However, they vow to hold Lil Baby responsible. And I think that's what happened in the OJ case. Mark Furman and other people vowed internally and maybe even amongst themselves to hold OJ accountable. And I think you can lose sight of what your real focus is supposed to be as law enforcement when you are committed to holding a certain said individual responsible.
The investigation aspect of this, Lamont Freeman was allowed to be a 13-year-old for 27 minutes.
Damn, bless his baby, it's a young heart. 13-year-old died. And the way he just said it was 27 minutes into his birthday. Wow.
Before gang violence ultimately took his life. Gang violence was orchestrated by adults in our city. And cowardly acts of an Atlanta-based rapper that decided to go over into a rival gang stronghold and shoot a music video in a place that he knew he should not have been.
Right then and there. Sound like a sundown town. Now, law enforcement is blurring the lines between professionalism, indignation, and being street. Because there should never be a time where law enforcement gets up in an official capacity and describes any area as somewhere another citizen is not supposed to be. That was very unprofessional, in my opinion.
And in the subsequent days, we saw
that is just almost bowing or bending to the authority of the gangs in that area by saying any one person should not be any one place in your county, sir.
And ultimately, the deaths of 2 children as a result of his cowardly actions. And you know who you are.
And to keep utilizing the word cowardly when describing his actions is also off base, because whether him doing that did spark these terrible, unfortunate events, you cannot assume his intentions on shooting or filming in that vicinity that you are describing. Sure, there could have been nefarious intentions, but this is what the law provides before you were born, sir. Innocent until proven guilty. You're skipping a whole lot of steps. And I don't think you're doing your Department of Justice by rendering a decision this far in advance, sir. There are people who literally just go back to OJ, for an example. There was apparent tons and tons of evidence that pointed toward his guilt. And he went throughout his whole process and received a not guilty verdict. So for law enforcement, I don't even think there's a law that provides. This is what Atlanta did with Young Thug. They had such an indignation against street hip hop gangsterism that they went with this personal, passionate pursuit of stopping YSL, and they fell far short of the mark that they intended to hit. And I think we're witnessing some of the same energy, lack of professionalism, and personal indignation that can perhaps blur, foggy up, and even ruin an investigation. And that would be an injustice to these minors that lost their lives.
And I tell you that this team will work relentlessly to hold you and the persons that you are affiliated with responsible for those actions.
I just do not see how they can go from, hey, we was over here one day doing something totally legal without incident, like filming a music video. I'm pretty sure they have professional people, cameraman, grip, and all of the sorts. I don't see how then, because some people who didn't appreciate your presence there at a past time, if they allegedly engaged in violence as a result or is to respond to you, I don't see how the law could find the people, Lil Baby, his crew that shot the video responsible for the reaction in the legal sense. Now, ethically, morally, anybody has the right to have an opinion and form an opinion. And this officer, in his outside of his official position and capacity, he may have opinions and thoughts on this situation and who he may personally deem responsible and hold ultimately accountable for this thing. But in a legal sense, your personal feelings and what the law prescribes have to be separated often, or we would have a lot of vigilante activity by officers, and we see that happen often. However, once again, I think they're putting the horse before the cart, and I don't think they have what they would desire to have against Lil Baby in the legal sense.
On the day of the music video, Lil Baby went to a local taco shop, but this was located on one of his ops' block. Allegedly, the ops never even knew Lil Baby and his crew were there recording the music video, but a lady who either owns or is associated with the taco stand recorded Lil Baby 3 cars deep on the block. This ended up getting the attention.
Like I said, you see the professional truck, so he's feeding the community. Now, to insinuate and establish here publicly that this is a gang-related move is very careless, very unprofessional, very irresponsible on behalf of law enforcement. This looks like a professional artist conducting his professional business, which is entertainment, music video. I don't see anything gang-related whatsoever.
of the ops on social media, which made them pull up on Lil Baby.
Where y'all at? We over here kicking in. We got Lil Baby shooting a video around here. You know how we do it at Slapping Taco. Baby, there he go. There he
So the law is saying they have areas within their county that it's illegal for you to do your business as a professional rap artist if by chance someone doesn't like it and then they create or they do something that's illegal in response, then you are responsible. That sounds like bullshit. Oh, my mama.
go. Y'all see him? He came to get him some tacos, baby. Y'all better pull up. Because you already know how we doing this type of tacos, baby.
This resulted in a viral tweet that then shared, the Atlanta DA wasn't successful getting Young Thug. Watch, she will now target Lil Baby and use him as an example for the rest of the rappers who are supplying the gangs with fame, money, and items for street crimes. Be ready, as this is a serious issue in the rap.
See, I hadn't watched this far into the video, but this reminds them of someone else what the Atlanta DA did toward Young Thug was unsuccessful. However, they have far more of a case against Young Thug than they apparently have against Lil Baby. So I think, yeah, they prematurely announcing their intentions on holding Lil Baby responsible. I think overall, that whole push against hip hop street gangsterism coming from the Atlanta area is going to lose credence and credibility if they keep launching these baseless or unsuccessful attacks at these professional artists. Now, I'm not justifying all the activity that the people are saying that these people may or may not be involved in. However, you know, in the legal sense, when you go after something, you have to secure it and make sure you have the evidence to present. You can't just get upset about something, have a vague concept of what may be going on, and then because of your capacity as an authority legally, use your authority to then just launch these witch hunts that are easily debased or debunked, period. Maybe not so easily because it took some effort, but it was not that difficult to debunk this aura of Young Thug being this gang lord. The defense handled it pretty well.
Rap industry. Rappers who are associated with gangs get rich and successful off music and then funnel all the money they make into the streets. Whether it's using to buy narcotics, firearms, etc., it makes one gang a lot more powerful than the others. However, the feds announcing this crime with having Lil Baby involved answers one of the biggest questions the rap industry had, which is why did Lil Baby close 4PF? Did you know right after Lil Baby's Wham album release, it would be shared, Lil Baby's new album Wham was a rush release due to a legal battle coming his way. Him closing 4PF was the first sign to this. As it was then announced, Lil Baby reveals that he ended his record label 4PF to avoid it being labeled as a street team, as he's trying to cut any ties that any 4PF members, crimes they may have committed coming.
It's crazy how Atlanta gets involved in these type of activities and they make it such a big thing. When I can recall just recently last year or maybe the year before, local rappers DW Flame and Big Sad engaged in like rap beef, and it went from records to DW Flame popping up in Big Sad's section shooting a video with a very aggressive overtones. So there was no reported violence and reaction or response to that, right? However, there is no way in my assessment of the law that a reaction could warrant your actions as being illegal. Regardless of what someone does in response to your activity is either illegal or legal once you commit that act. They're saying the response to him shooting that video now mandates that his action as shooting that video was illegal. So does that mean had there not been a violent response, that was not an illegal activity? And in that case, out here in Los Angeles, would we have to consider what DW Flame did by going to Big Sad Hood and shooting a video illegal? You get my dilemma that the law that I see that they're facing, this is a big stretch in my opinion.
Back to him.
First 4 pockets full had to come to an end. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. When you say of course, I mean, why you say of course?
Because all shit that be going on And I had to start learning that, like, other people's actions, I could be held accountable for it.
Right.
I ain't know all that at first. You know what I'm saying? I never would have went that route, but I ain't know. You know what I'm saying? Now that I know, I'd be a fool to just keep the same thing going. They trying to make something out of something that it ain't.
Right.
Like, if I got any kind of control of, hey, we're gonna switch that whole thing up. It ain't even just about the police. It's just period. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never was supposed to make my label something that I talk about.
However, what you likely...
That reminds me again of the past. I remember when things was really building up and G-Unit Crip was a thing that we was running with. And I remember one time encountering 50 for like the first time in a week or two. And as soon as I bumped into him, first thing I was like, hey, yo, B, you know they believe you, B. Talking about the police. He was like, with that G-Unit Crip shit, you know they believe you. Indicating that we had established something that was drawing the attention from law enforcement. They was taking it serious. They wasn't playing, and they had made that known and clear to him, one way or the other.
What we didn't know is the Atlanta DA already warned the public about Lil Baby's involvement in Atlanta crimes on the news.
An in-depth investigation. Recent months, you've had 2 high-profile racketeering cases. There could be more.
Over the next 60 days, you'll see 2 more.
As DJ Academics would even investigate, and he would reveal the entire trap the Atlanta DA Fannie Willis was placing on rappers in the Atlanta area. This would even be confirmed, as 1 week later after he shared it, it would be announced Lil Baby was arrested on Monday night for carrying a concealed firearm without a permit. He was then sent to the Clark County Detention Center, being held on a $5,000 bail.
I need 20 bands. Call the number for me. Hey, security, the black guy. Call the number for me. They locking me up for a gun, but I got license. Security, I need 200 bands a year. I swear to God, security. Security, I need 200 bands a year. You don't make 200 bands here. Hey, lady, my check leave at 19. Nah, check me good. I got to my nuts. Check me good. You on the counter? I got to my nuts. Check me good.
Hey, I know you hot, man. But why are you in Atlanta inviting a man to pay extra attention to you? We seen you on that thing with Meek and the billion.
I gotta go. All right, y'all let me that costume. I said, y'all fired.
However, it's a lot deeper than this.
Keyway Cake was hard.
As just only 8 months ago, Academics would then reveal on stream while showing the evidence file of 4PF on the same RICO document that YSL was on.
I've heard 2 of them. Like, I've heard the 2 of them. They're like, yo, these are going first, then these are going first. I've heard the names. And I don't know if I should say it. Again, I got nothing to do with no investigation for nothing, whatever. But these are top rappers. Well, one's a top rapper. The other one, matter of fact, I'll do the segment without saying the name. I'll just say this. I believe you know who the obvious name is. They're in Atlanta. They go by three letters. They've been popping. One of the top, I would say, 3 rappers in the game.
But now in the present day, with the YSL trial being over, Fannie Willis failing at capturing Young Thug, Academics was then able to reveal everything, as Lil Baby's recent arrests seem almost like a massive warning for a massive...
Shout out to this cat, man. District, what's his name? District, what's the name of Cuz China we just reacted to? Is it Trend?
What is it?
District Trending.
YNW? Yeah.
But that's really just what I wanted to cover, bro. They trying to push a line on Lil Baby that I just think is going to be fruitless. I can't see how the law could in any way, form, or fashion hold him responsible for shooting the video in an area that caused someone to be so upset they allegedly became violent. It just seems off base, and good luck to Lil Baby. Oh, my mama.
You are now in the Black Box with Spider Loke, Most Easty, aka BJ Keyway, and the Google Gang.
Let's go.
Nigga in that puzzle. Big shout out to my nigga SPI, Spider Loke. You know I'm in the Black Box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.
It's the homie cook-up boss, goddammit, Cub Low. And y'all tuning in to the Wake and Bake Show with goddammit the homeboy Spider Low.
Here with SPI, the realest nigga in LA.
Spider this bitch!
My nigga Spider Low. Spider Low, nigga.
Spider Low.
It's Spider Low.
Spider Low.
Spider Low.
Spider Low.
Spider Low, that's my nigga.
Spider Low.
Spider Low. Shout out to SPI, that motherfucking nigga.
Spider Low, Wake and Bake. Better keep it Google, nigga.
Loke is in LA somewhere doing what he's doing.
In the words of Spider Loke on my mama's mama.
Spider Loke's gear. This is Bay Mac.
Nate Blood, C-Mac. Shout out my Loke, Spider Loke, huh? Nate Blood on Hood. It's a beautiful world. You fight me? Fight, cred.
Point blank, through no subliminal dissing. When I listen, I can tell you never been on no mission. Sticking to the script, don't care if I offend you. Neighborhood crib, the marathon
I overlook my competition, never seeing them. I done trained my mind that I'm going. You could tell by how I walk, talk, I'm a boss. A east side millionaire, homie, what you thought? My life is a movie. They can't get close to me. They mad cause they can't be. I'm everything that they wanna be, yeah.